Hey, this is Jay Buchanan from the Rival Sons, and I'm about to do an interview for Linea Rock.
Welcome back to Italy, Jay, and welcome to Linea Rock.
Thank you, it's good to be here.
Okay, so the Rival Sons, proudly from Los Angeles. You're playing rock and roll. You've been defined old, retro, the not typical American band. But what I want to ask you is, how do Rival Sons feel about their own music?
So how do we feel about our own music? It's kind of like the skin we're in, you know, your skin.
Yeah.
It's kind of, we're a rock and roll band. I think all of the comparisons, or people say that we're retro, or, you know, whatever. I mean, that's all cool, but we, as you can hear, we're getting ready to do sound check.
Yeah.
We just play rock and roll. So, I mean, if people are going to be honest about it and just say that, yeah, Rival Sons, it's a rock and roll band, you know, that's fine with me.
And I've heard just positive things about you guys, and it's actually a kind of exception in rock and roll to have, you know, just good critics and just good words about you. Somebody says that you're saving rock and roll, that you play rock and roll as it is supposed to be. Is that a big responsibility for you?
Who said? Did my mom say that? Is that my mom?
No.
My mother?
I swear, a lot of people say that. Me too.
Well, I mean, you know, despite all of the, you know, if you haven't heard, we're actually really horrible people. We're terrible, terrible men. And all we think about is horrible, evil things all of the time. And we spread negativity. I'm being very sarcastic. I think the guys in this band, you know, they're a good lot, good guys. To have all of these people saying really nice things about you, for me personally, I try not to read any of our reviews or stories in magazines and stuff like that, because it's kind of, that doesn't have anything to do with why I do what I do. And if you start reading, oh, Rival Sons, oh, they're great. Rival Sons, oh, they're great. Rival Sons, these guys are jerks. Rival Sons, I hate Jay's clothes. Rival Sons, what's, you know, I don't like their new record. Or Rival Sons, oh, they're awesome, they're great. That doesn't have anything to do with why we make music. And if you start believing the hype, it's not, you know, that's only going to be very bad.
Okay.
It'll be really, really bad for us. Is it possible to close that all of the... To close the door? Yeah, that's fine. But you know, if people want to say that we're saving rock and roll, what are we saving it from? A dragon?
Okay.
I don't know. Rock and roll never went anywhere. People are trying to say that we're like, they've said that we're like a revivalist. We're reviving rock and roll. In my opinion, it didn't need saving, because there are people out there making really good rock and roll, you know. But it's nice if they want to say nice things about us.
All right. And how did it become possible for you to get, you know, recognized and successful and have, you know, such good reviews, as we already said, so quickly? Do you have any special recipe for that?
I think one of the contributing factors, one of the largest ones, is we have a great team working for us. We have excellent, we handpicked excellent management, excellent publicists, you know, there's all of that stuff. Because for us, we're just playing music. And I'm sure you guys have seen, and everybody out there, you've all seen really great bands, and you go, why doesn't everybody know about this band? What's going on? Yeah. So the music is only one part of it. We try to make the best music that we're capable of. But there's also behind the scenes, all of those people trying to help us and work, you know, and to make this thing happen. So there's that. And then I think another really important thing for musicians and bands out there, you should probably get off of your couch or get off of your computer and go book a gig. Go book a show right now instead of messing around on the computer. But I think that the work ethic with musicians tends to be very low. Okay. Because think about how many friends you have that are musicians, and they go, "Oh, the industry, oh, it's so hard."
Yeah.
Oh, it's. But then you go, "Well, did you write a song today? Did you book a gig? What did you do today?" And they go, "Oh man, I'm getting around to it. It's all about the music." Well, that's all it's ever going to be about. You're never going to have a job playing music unless you get really busy. Yeah. You have to work really, really hard. It's very important.
Your music and your concerts give that 70s reborn, irresistible feeling, you know, that only the monsters of rock are capable of. Especially you, Jay, while you perform, you seem completely into your music, like into a trance. Totally captured. I've seen Rival Sons 3 times in 1 year, and every show was different. Is that your way? I mean, it's like everything is so natural as it appears?
Well, yeah. I mean, we're up there playing music, and you have to be committed. I mean, I'm not up there. I'm not a model on the runway.
All right.
You know, I'm not an actor in a play. I'm up there, and I have a lot of work to do. I have to take these songs, these lyrics, like everything, and I have to reach and focus. You know, reach deep inside myself.
Yeah.
And that's why, yeah, I'm committed 100%, because if you're not committed 100%, like, I see a lot of bands that they get all the moves, they got the clothes, and you just think like, man, what are you doing? Pay attention to the music. Just, just play your guitar, or just sing, or just play your drums, and just focus on that. Don't think about anything else. Don't smile and point to people out in the audience. Hey, everybody. Hey, baby. Like, that's all been done before. But to immerse yourself in the music, I think that's the only way of doing it, So.
There's a sort of tension in the name Rival Sons, or actually it appears. Does it represent the band, or is simply just a name you pick up?
I think it's when Scott and I came up with that name, little did we know how accurate the name would be. Yeah, it definitely. We're like we're a family, and we spend more time together than people should ever spend together.
Okay.
But we make it work. So. You know what? Is there any way, can we continue this? Because
sure.
It's my...
Okay.
I have to get in there and sound check.
End of part 1, and then...
Yes, end of part 1, but you can hear the band playing, so I gotta...
Go and do your job. Okay. See you later.
All right.
This is Jay, Rival Sons, Linea Rock part 2.
Yeah, sorry, we had to do a sound check.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the questions.
All right, yeah.
So your sound is very authentic. Bloodstream, blues and roll. What's the secret of your magic chemistry, in your opinion?
I have no idea.
You have
I mean, I can attempt to try to describe whatever this is. I've got a woman back home. She's my companion. We've been together for 6 years, and she will ask me. Sometimes she'll say, Jay, why do you love me? What is it about me? And she is waiting for me to say something romantic oh, baby, it's because of this and this. And she always gets mad because I go, I don't know. I don't know, you know. I just tell her, I love you and, you know, we're together. But with this band, I really don't, I don't know as far as chemistry. The closest thing that I could equate it to is that everybody knows exactly what they're doing. And nobody knows what they're doing.
Okay.
But like we can trust each other musically, you know, for the most part. We can trust each other to follow each other, to improvise, or, you know, there's a lot of creative tension in the band. Everybody, we always joke that the sound of Rival Sons is 4 people soloing at the same time, like all the time. But I think it's that everybody is proficient at what they're doing, and they're cool people. You know, I look at the other 3 guys and they're nice guys.
Do you always work all together on the songs?
No.
No.
No, not always. Sometimes I'll write songs on my own.
Okay.
And then, but most of the time we, you know, Scott will bring in a riff and then we'll start building the music.
Because you sound always very united. You know, that's why I was asking, because that's a band thing. That's
well, I mean, you know, I think that this band, that we know the difference in between being together and not being together. And not being together, musically, it's really unforgivable for any of us. It's like, well, why would we even play if we're not going to give everything that we have and to do the very best job that we can? Everybody is very keen on that. Everybody definitely wants to try to transcend. You know, last night's show, we're going to try to. Last night we sold out. It was incredible. There were people climbing off of the walls, and it was a huge, huge theater that we played. Well, tonight's, you know, a smaller theater, but tonight we're going to try to even play better than we did last night. So we do that all of the time, and same thing when we make records and when we put songs together. It's very important, like, that we challenge each other and that we challenge ourselves.
And the concert dimension is the one you prefer? I mean, because I know that usually you don't stay in the studio more than 3 weeks, usually when you record, so it's...
Well, you know, they both a live show and then being in the studio making a record, they both hold their own romantic nature, you know. When we play live, of course, you have an audience, and there's that energy, and there's the feeling that we're all together in this. Even though we're the ones on stage, and I'm the guy with the microphone, and I'm singing, you can feel that energy in the crowd, and you know that for 90 minutes, for just a little bit each night, we're all together for a little bit. And so that is, it's very intoxicating, that in of itself. And then to sit in the studio and to write songs all day, all night, all day, and it's just, you know, and I'm losing my mind, and the rest of the band too. That has its own romantic nature as well, of do or die. We have to do it. We have to do it. Keep working, keep working, keep working. And it's very exhausting. But I mean, so is touring.
Did you feel any pressure this time for this album, Head Down? Because Pressure and Time had quite success all over the world.
Yeah,
so.
Well, no, I mean, anytime we go into the studio, we put an enormous amount of pressure on ourselves. But it doesn't have anything to do with, you know, with the last record. Well, it was really good, or it did really well, and people really liked it, so people are really watching us. I mean, if you conduct yourself that way, what could you ever hope to achieve? To make a bunch of people happy? We have the responsibility of trying to make the best music that we can, and that's really our focus, you know. And I feel that... And
you do it well, actually.
Well, thank you,
the result, you know.
I think that our audience, and it's really the only kind of audience I want, is an audience that will look to us and say, those guys are doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
We're not doing what the audience wants. We're doing what we want to do. And because they come to see us, they buy our records. And I hope that we can build an audience of people that just want us to be ourselves, you know, instead of, hey, everybody, hey, you know, and like the tap dancing and all of that stuff. That's not going to get us anywhere.
Jordan is such an inspired song. Is that dedicated to, I mean, somebody you love, maybe the person you already spoke about?
Well, no, I mean, I have, I think, I've had, you know, like, we've all lost people in our lives.
Okay.
You lose family, and the song in of itself is a culmination of a lot of different experiences. You know, losing family and having the good fortune to be able to sit bedside with people as they're been watching them, and they die, they're gone, and then when they leave the earth and being right there, that's really what the song is about, and it's about reflecting that way. But when that was one of the songs that I wrote on my own while we were in the studio, and I kept thinking, why am I writing a song about death? Why, this is a rock and roll band. Why? And I kept thinking, wow, you know, why? Because it was very painful to work on because of how emotionally heavy it is.
But it turned into something good.
Well, no,
because it's a good song.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's honest. That's honesty.
Yeah.
You know, in the beauty of death. You know, as it's a fact. You know, that's the bookend to any life. That's, you know, that's the closing chapter. But whenever you lose someone, they still live on. You know, it's very cliche, but they still live on. Yeah. But I had a very close friend of mine, and she was losing her mother, and I had forgotten about it actually, and I kept thinking, why am I writing this song? Why am I writing this song? Wow, you know, I don't get it. And then the night that I finished it, while I was alone in my room, I found out that very next morning when we went to record it, and I showed it to the band. That's when her mother passed. And I went, oh, wait a minute, that's why I wrote this song. It was for that. But it's also, you know, because letting go of people and telling people that it's okay. You can go. Don't hang around for me. Don't keep yourself alive and keep yourself in all of this pain, just so that you can be right here with me.
You toured with Judas Priest and played a lot of festivals last summer in front of sometimes a metal audience, heavy metal audience.
Oh yeah, always.
Like the Gods of Metal in Italy, for example.
Yeah.
What an experience was that for the Rival Sons? Because you're basically, you know, a blues rock band, so very different than, you know, that kind of world.
Yeah.
And what kind of education you can have from those bands, you know, like Judas Priest that wrote, you know, rock history.
Yeah, I've never been into metal. I've been into the blues.
Okay.
And the blues doesn't really live inside metal from everything that I've heard. Metal is it's its own thing, you know, and it has its own sound and its own identity. So it's really been an education going on tour with Priest and playing like Gods of Metal or playing Hellfest and meeting all of these different metal bands. It's not something that I was familiar with at all. But getting to meet these people, boy, the metal audience and metal heads, metal bands, for the most part, these are some of the nicest people anywhere. I would have never known. Like, these are real, they're very loyal people, and they're always really good people with a good heart. And it doesn't matter that they might have a bunch of metal and shit sticking out of their face, or tattoos on their face, or, you know, and wearing all black and whatever. These are good people. And for me, it was really an experience to get to know and to become close friends with a lot of these bands and these people. You know, life is always surprising you that way. As soon as you think you have something figured out, you don't have anything figured out.
But did you have any doubt when you were booked?
Oh, of course.
Okay, you did.
Oh my gosh, yeah. When,
Okay.
even, you know, getting signed to Earache Records, it's a metal label.
Right.
And when they came knocking,
Yes.
this is Earache Records. We really like you, Rival Sons. We're on the other side of the door going, bullshit, you guys are lying to us. Go away, you're just joking with us. A little while after,
Yeah.
this is Earache Records, we really like you guys, we want to sign you guys. We just thought, are you kidding me? Go away, go away. And then they came back
Right.
because we thought, how do we fit into this metal world? We don't. But Digby, you know, the owner of the label,
Yeah.
I asked him, I said, how does Rival Sons fit into this metal world? And he says, you guys are playing the type of rock and roll that came directly before metal
All right.
was born. That this is part of what led to metal.
So.
So I thought, okay, all right, you know.
So you signed.
Yeah, so we signed, but like even when we first got the Judas Priest tour, we just thought, oh, what's going to happen? You know,
Right.
are these metalheads going to look at us and go, why are you guys on stage with Judas Priest? We love Judas Priest. Get off the stage. People were really cool
Yes.
because, again, like I said, metalheads, they're very open-minded people, you know, and they're really, really great people. And that's such an education.
But did you prepare any special set list just in case?
No,
no,
not really.
You just did your
No, we just
own
do our
set?
thing, like a
Okay.
little bit of soul music.
All right.
We'll do a ballad, whatever, because we figure, well, let's just be ourselves.
Right.
Let's be ourselves, because whoever's out there, if somebody looks at us and they go, oh, they really tailored their set, you know, to be like the Judas Priest opening set. We're not really those kind, you know, that's not the kind of band we are. We're just ourselves.
Are you more bored and annoyed of being compared to Jim Morrison for your look, or you know, for the Rival Sons to be compared to Led Zeppelin? Which is more boring for you?
I mean, of course, the Jim Morrison thing, I really don't get it, you know. I didn't understand. Like, people would say, oh, Jim Morrison. I always thought, like, man, if I just cut my hair, nobody's ever going to say Jim Morrison, ever. They would never say that. It must be like my hair.
Yeah.
You know, I have long, dark hair, okay? But then we were flying over on this last tour, flying from California over to London, and on the way over, you know, you get so bored on those long flights. So I start looking for movies, and there was a
The Doors?
Yeah, there was a Doors documentary on like the making of LA Woman.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, love the Doors. I haven't really listened to them in a long time.
Yeah.
But like, so then I watched and I went, and I was watching Jim Morrison. I go, what are people talking about? You know, why do they say that? But then it clicked. I watched it and I went, wait a minute, I get it. What it really is that he's totally dedicated to the song. And I thought,
that's
what, yeah, well, like that's what it is. But
Yeah.
no, getting compared to, you know, Jim Morrison, or getting, you know, the band, all of us getting compared to Led Zeppelin, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I know who we are. We're not trying to be the Doors. I'm not trying to be Jim Morrison, that's for sure. I'm way too happy. I love people, I love life, like everything's wonderful and magical and beautiful, you know, and with the band, you know, if people want to compare us to Led Zeppelin, great, because when it comes to rock and roll bands, they're basically they're right up there, probably the best, and if not the very best, they're one of them, you know. So like,
but of course, are Zeppelin some of your influences, or?
Yeah, I think that Scott is really heavy.
Okay.
on the Zeppelin influence. But I mean, you know, he's really cool about it. You know, it's not, he doesn't try to hide it or anything like that.
Okay.
And you can hear it in his playing, but it's not just Led Zeppelin. It's you know, Jeff Beck, and he's really influenced a lot by not just like the blues, like and soul, like where my influences come from, but he loves that when you know, like when the British got a hold of the blues and they made their version of rock and roll.
Right.
But of course, you know, everybody loves Led Zeppelin. If you like rock and roll, you like Led Zeppelin.
Which you call your main influences, and is Wild Animal something in some way about Eric Burdon?
No. Wild Animal is actually not about Eric Burdon at all.
Okay.
On the last record, I mean, for me growing up, like the Animals, loved the Animals.
I know.
Eric Burdon, a very underrated, you know, the Animals to me are a very underrated band.
I agree.
But you know, like on the last record, on Pressure and Time, we did Young Love, and using that low baritone voice.
Yes.
That was my, you know, that was my ode to Eric Burdon.
Okay.
And but then of course, because of the hair or whatever, people go, oh, that song, he sounds just like Jim Morrison. I'm going, no, Eric Burdon, it's Eric Burdon. But yeah, there's no, the song doesn't have anything to do with him at all. But well, I forget
So
the first part of the question.
Eric is one of your influences?
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
I mean, Eric Burdon, Van Morrison.
Okay.
You know, people talk about, you know, like great rock singers, rock and roll singers, and like, you know, the white dudes doing the blue-eyed soul.
Yeah.
And everybody talks about, you know, Steve Marriott, fantastic. You know, Robert Plant, fantastic. They'll talk about Dave Coverdale. I'm not really familiar with Dave Coverdale, but evidently he's, you know, really good and everything. And they'll talk about all of these different people. Nobody ever talks about Van Morrison.
Yeah.
Van Morrison, all of those other guys, Van Morrison could crush those guys with one hand, vocally.
Yeah.
But he got out of the rock and roll game when he left them.
Yeah.
That band, and then he split off and did his own, you know, mystic Irishman thing. But yeah, Van Morrison, huge influence. Otis Redding, Nina Simone is a huge influence. John Jacob Niles, Screamin' Jay Hawkins, Blind Willie Johnson. Like these are people that really influenced me vocally, you know. But artistically, Joni Mitchell, Leonard Cohen. You know, these great writers. I don't know. There's so I'm
so
not really.
many.
I'm not really a person who has like one. I don't have a shrine to anyone at my home. It's all of them. Yeah.
Talking about new bands, you know, The Answer, Blackstone Cherry. We mentioned also the Black Crowes, even if they're not very new, but they're newer than, you know, some of the classics bands. And those are three bands quite often mentioned as part of the same scene as the Rival Sons. You know, same direction, same kind of sound. Which of these three bands do you feel closer to? Maybe in the spirit, if not only sound-wise.
You know what? The Answer, I don't feel any really good guys and everything, and you know, they're doing their version of what rock and roll is. I feel like it's
another thing,
a whole different thing. Blackstone Cherry has nothing to do, and those are friends of ours too. Their music, it has nothing to do at all. You know what I mean? Like, I look at Blackstone Cherry, and that's like comparing Queen to AC/DC. It's like,
that is classic,
you know what I mean?
but
but it's like, totally different. I think the Black Crowes, probably, you know, I think I would feel closest to them out of those three. You know, there are other bands that are trying to play like a soul rock and roll thing. You know, you have a band like Graveyard, you know, out of Sweden.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate band. Yeah, I appreciate those guys, and I like their records. You know, I'm a fan. Joaquin and all, you know, the whole band, great guys. And And then you have a band like Vintage Treble. That's, you know, they're really working hard right now. They're on the scene. But I think the Black Crowes are probably closest.
All right.
Out of any of those guys.
And you like them?
Oh yeah, who doesn't love the Black Crowes? It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic things, and yeah, you know, I like the Black Crowes early stuff.
So you're on tour, and what I was curious about is if you have any tour routine every day,
Yes.
just to get in good shape for your voice, or to have a good mood, or something like that.
Yeah, the greatest routine on tour is try to get good sleep.
Okay.
You know, because for me, with vocally, that's the very best thing I can do for my voice, because we're playing like 2 hours a night now, and my voice takes a beating and everything. But it's really just
so that means
try to stay positive.
that you're going to sleep very early, quite after the show. That's
No.
not very rock and roll, but
No. Well, no. I mean, you know, a lot of people say different things. You know, I'll have my whiskey or,
okay.
or you know, my drinking, and I'll do my hang around. But I mean, all of this rock star stuff about like what's rock and roll and what's not.
Yeah.
And I just tell people to shut up, because I'm the guy with the job.
Okay.
I have this job, so I'm going to define to myself what rock and roll means. You know, people always try to say, drugs and blah, you know, and you know, you need to constantly be having sex with, you know, questionable women, and you need to constantly be drunk, or constantly, you know, you need to do cocaine and like all of this stuff. And I just think, it sounds like you want to be a rock star. I don't want to be a rock star. I want to be a musician.
Right.
You know.
That's different.
Yeah. I want to make music. I don't want to look like I'm making music. I want to actually make music.
Okay, last question. So after burning down Los Angeles, what's next for the Rival Sons? Are you any ambitious, and how far and hot your engine can run?
I think we're going to be on tour for most of. We're going to be on tour promoting this record for probably up until like next fall, for like probably a whole year.
Wow.
We'll be touring constantly, and then you know, I don't know what's going to come next. Maybe we'll make another record. Maybe we won't. You know, I think we have to see how everything works, and you know.
You're gonna be the next big thing?
I don't know. We're gonna be Rival Sons. I know that. As far as the next big whatever, I have no idea. You know, if people give us a stage to play on, we're gonna give them everything we got. But all of that other stuff, that's up to everybody else. That's up to you guys. So, you know, if we're gonna be the next big whatever, great. Cool. I just want to make, you know, hopefully we can, you know, the band will only survive, we'll only stay together and make music together for as long as we can make music that we can stand behind. But if we're not going to be inspired and make good music or give everything we got, well, when that day comes, then it's time for us to hang our guns up and just, you know, split off and go into other projects.
I know that you don't mind about it, but if you're gonna make your first $1 million, what you're gonna buy first?
I'll probably just save it.
Okay, you're saving.
Yeah, I'll probably just save it and maybe buy my parents a new house.
Oh, great.
Probably, you know, something like that. But, you know, you say the word $1 million, that's really not very much money anymore.
I know, yeah, but you know, I said the first.
Yeah.
$1 million.
Probably just, you know, buy my lady a nice dress and, you know.
That's very romantic.
Yeah, that's it. You know, buy her a nice dress and some more groceries in the fridge.
All right.
I don't know. You know, do something nice for my parents.
And keep on doing this.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, keep playing music, you know.
All right. Thanks so much, Jay.
Of course, Barbara.
Thank you very much.
And thank you.